Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how I drew this character on my phone using IBISPAINTX. So I forgot to mention I'm going to be using my fingers to draw on my phone since I don't have a stylus or a touch pen. So now I am on IBISPAINTX and I'm using the 1:1 canvas size. So it just opened and I'm importing my reference. I got this reference from Pinterest, by the way. So I basically reduced the opacity of the reference layer and then created a new layer above this. In this new layer, I used the deep pen hard brush to try to draw the structure of the character. So to draw the structure of the character, there are a few things you have to know about a human body. When you draw a straight line from the head to the feet and you divide the straight line into two equal parts, you're going to get the pelvic area. If you divide the first half into three parts, the first line is going to be the head, obviously, the second line is going to be the shoulder line, and the third line is going to be the elbow. If you divide the second half into two parts, you're going to get the knee. So now we're going to draw the chest with this shape, the pelvic with upside down triangle, the joints with circles, the arms with rectangles, then I'm going to draw the thigh, the leg, and the feet and hand with triangles. For better understanding of how to draw the structure of a human body, I made a 50-second YouTube short and also a YouTube video titled How to Draw Any Pose in Just 5 Minutes. So you can check out both of these videos in the description box. I linked it there, okay? So now I'm going to show you guys how I use this information in this character that I'm drawing. So the key is, as you draw one part, you basically draw the same thing on the side, like a shorter version. Like as I draw one line, I draw the same line. As I draw one circle, I draw the same circle. You get the point. If you remember, I said divide the first part into three equal parts, but for this character I divided into three parts where the first part is bigger than the two parts. Since the first part represents the head, I wanted the head to be a little bit bigger, to be like cartoon characters. Okay, so after creating the outline, I used the Lasco tool to select the outline, then I increased the size of the outline, and then I reduced the opacity of this outline layer. I created a new layer above this for the sketch. So for the sketch, I really started drawing the face first. I recommend you watch my how to draw faces video. It's going to help you really. And I really tried to change the expression of the face, but I wasn't really that successful. I also basically moved on to drawing the body. Okay, so when you're actually drawing the sketch, you're not exactly supposed to copy or trace the outline like directly. What you're supposed to do is look at the reference and then try to modify or try to like add some changes to make it look, pretty. Anyways, I wanted to add like a satisfying music because I'm just showing you guys the sketch, and I want to remind you guys that you should like this video and also subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the video so far, okay? Okay, so now I'm done drawing the sketch and I'm going to create another layer, but not above it, like below this sketch. I would have drawn the line art first, but I just don't feel like drawing line art today, okay? So let's just move on to the coloring process. So personally, when I color any character, I don't just pick the same color as the reference and then color it. No, what I do is I go to the reference layer, then I create a new layer above this. On this layer, I use the felt tip pen hard to color a pinkish or a reddish or orangish or yellowish color on top of the reference. It depends on my mood or what color I want to use. So in this character, I'm using the purple color. Now I reduce the opacity of this layer. You can see the purplish effect on the reference. So after doing that, I go back to the layer below the sketch and then I pick the color and use it to color the skin, the clothes, and every other part of the character. So I talked about this method that I'm using to color the character in a video titled 7 detail art tips and hacks you can try for free on IBISPAINTX. These hacks are going to really much help you in this drawing, so if you want to actually draw this, go check out that video. The link of the video is in the description box below, okay? So to color any character, there are a few things you have to know. There is the base or the local color, the hard shading, the soft shading, and the highlights. So what we just colored is the local or base color. So I created a new layer for the shading, which is the hard shading. For the hard shading, I used the deep pen hard brush and you just have to identify it in the reference. The parts that are very, very dark are the hard shading. So you can actually practice, use different references and then try to find the hard shading. Some references don't have hard shading, so like don't kill yourself if you don't see any hard shading, okay? When I'm done with the hard shading, I use the hairbrush to basically color the soft shading. You can actually create a new layer for the soft shading, or you can just color it on the same layer. It doesn't really matter for me. For the highlights, I use the pen fade brush or the airbrush depending on if the highlight is like soft or hard, okay? So if it's hard, I use the pen fade brush. If it's soft, I use the hairbrush, okay? Make sure you take your time to study the reference, then identify the hard shading, the soft shading, and the highlights using different colors, okay? So this method I just talked about was the method I used to paint my last illustration, but for this particular character, I wanted it to be more realistic. If you want your character to be more realistic, you don't have to draw all the hard shading before you draw the soft shading and before you draw the highlights. You can just start with one little section of the face, draw the hard shading and the soft shading and the highlight for that part, move on to another little section of the face, and then you repeat the process again. You can also focus on the face first before you focus on the clothes and before you focus on the hair, okay? It really helps when you just pretty much focus on one part when you're trying to make your drawing more realistic. But if you don't want your drawing to be realistic, you just want like a cartoon vibe, just do all the hard shading, all the soft shading, and then all the highlights, okay? So the way you color your character depends on the style you want to achieve. So I recommend you actually look for different references on the particular style you want to achieve and then use that as a guide. And for the hair, I painted the strands with the pen fade brush and I used the reference as a guide when I was coloring it. So there are different ways you can color different types of hair. So for this particular hair, this is how I color it. I'm going to be making a video on how to color and draw hair later in this channel, so click on the subscribe button so you can get updated when I post that video. Also click the like button if you're enjoying this video so far. So now let's talk about the background. So I'm not really like an expert in drawing background, but I'm going to talk about how I drew this particular background. So first I picked the background color from the reference, then I went to like the lowest layer, created a layer, and then used it to color the background. Then I drew this yellow dot to draw this insect. I am not really sure if it's a bee or a firefly, okay? So I drew 3 lines like to show that the room is 3-dimensional. Then I changed the color to black using the alpha lock and then coloring the black with the felt C pen hard brush, okay? So then I colored this below the like 3-dimensional line layer, you can see it here. Then I went above all the layers and then colored it black. I reduced the opacity of this layer to create this dark effect. Then I used the eraser to clean this part so it looks like light is coming from above. Then I used the airbrush to create these glowing effects below all the layers. And I added a few more details and we're done. I really hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. Make sure to like the video and also click the subscribe button, okay? Don't forget to comment any video idea you want to see next, okay? Bye!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!